You're listening to The Front Porch Show. Some shows are niche shows, talking about specific topics. Others, shows about nothing. This show is the show about everything. On The Front Porch Show, we'll talk about current events, some news, a little bit of politics, along with a whole lot of life. Welcome to our Front Porch. Welcome to The Front Porch Show. I am your host, Aaron Mathis. I'm joined by the incredibly, terribly timed Tombstone.
Why, thank you.
You are absolutely amazing.
I'm so happy to be here.
It's like we're about to roll the intro, and all of a sudden, I just get a text that pops up, and I can't ignore it. And I don't even know what it is. I'm not clicking on it yet.
You can click on it. It's actually safe for work.
Is it? Okay.
It's safe for wife.
Is it safe for the show?
Yeah, it is.
Whoa, that's interesting.
Look at the price tag.
So hold on. But I can get 15% off.
You can, but you don't need it because you can't afford it anyways.
Oh my goodness, Tombstone.
Yeah.
Okay, so Tombstone sends me... Now, I don't know why he's getting advertisements for this.
I don't actually either, except my wife uses my computer.
Did it pop up on Facebook?
It did.
So this popped up on Facebook. This is a lambskin leather shift dress with statement zipper.
Which is not as naughty as it sounds.
Which, I mean, hey, Tombstone, on the Front Porch Show, we are advocates of marital bliss.
Yes.
And so there is no shame in that.
That's definitely a bliss-inducing outfit.
Unfortunately, there is shame in that price.
Yes, the price is what, $500 or more? I forget what it was.
So it's $795.
Oh, $795. It's expensive.
Unfortunately, it only comes in black.
Well, black is the right color for something like that, though.
And it only comes in it comes up to size large. That's pretty good. Extra small to large.
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
I would definitely need something bigger than a large person.
Right. If I were fitting in that sucker, I mean, beware
but
world.
I'm sure my wife would be fine with something smaller. No, anyways,
right.
I actually encourage you to browse through because there's some very nice things in there, and all of them are way out of my price range.
What is it? Oh, this is just so the listeners know. This is Hugo Boss,
the infamous designer of Nazi dress uniforms. Yes.
Oh, really?
You didn't know that?
No, I didn't. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so Hugo Boss designed the Nazi uniforms.
So now they're making other dress uniforms.
Yes, they're making dresses and suits.
That's
which they have been. I don't know. Hugo Boss. I don't know when he started business, but it was in the 20s or teens.
Fascinating. I didn't know that.
So, Aaron, what do we have on the docket for today?
Oh, Tombstone. Did I told you yesterday? So I went to a 3-gun competition yesterday.
How'd that go for you?
It went fairly well. I ended up in 4th or 5th place, depending on how you parse it out. Ended up running an incredibly slow time. However, I only missed 17 shots.
So, out of how many?
It was like, okay, so I sent you the tally. It was like 75 or 100 shots. It must have been 100 shots. So
and what did you use for this adventure? What kind of hardware?
I was rolling with my 223 AR-15, of course. The first set of the stage was 200-yard shot in 30-mile-an-hour wind. Hitting 5 targets. Hitting 5 targets about a foot round.
That's pretty small.
That is incredibly small, especially when I don't have any zoom optics because my AR-15 is what?
Old?
It's for close range.
Oh,
no, it's
right.
for close range. There's no reason to reach out beyond 100 yards with an AR-15 semi-auto. There's no reason. A rifle, perhaps.
That is a rifle.
No. A bolt-action rifle.
I don't know if we're going to agree on that point. I can ring steel very reliably at 300 yards. Okay. Not in a high wind, of course.
I was going to say 30-degree wind,
Sorry.
yes, okay.
But yeah.
I probably could too, but the rifle was designed for close range interaction.
That's actually not true.
No. My rifle, my particular
your
rifle was designed. I put the shortest barrel I could legally put on it.
Where were your points of failure? Where'd you have your misses at?
My misses were on obviously the 5 long distance shots. So it's a 5-second penalty.
Right.
And so what I did smartly, most people didn't hit those. So what I did is I went up there, I fired 5 shots at those 5 targets, kind of spray and pray, and then moved on. So I saved essentially, 20 seconds on those.
Right. Instead of staying there and slugging it out.
Instead of standing there. Yeah. So I just moved on. And so then there were low targets right to the left of me that I had to double tap 6 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Then swing around to my right, double tap 6 of those, or maybe it was 8 of those. I think it was 8 of those. Double tap 8 of those. Drop the AR-15 after a reload because it was too many for the reload. Had to reload once. No failures, no issues, Tombstone, which you should be proud of.
Did you download the mags like we talked about?
I did. I ended up using a few. I used like 2 or 3 fewer bullets in the magazines.
Mm-hmm.
And then you ditch the rifle in a bucket. Move on to shotgun. Shotgun. We had 15 targets. I used my CZ semi-auto shotgun,
which I'm very jealous of.
It is, so it's basically a Benelli clone. I had 3 people ask me there if it was the Benelli. And I'm like, I'm sitting there, I'm wrapping it up back in the purple cloth that came in, and people are like, is that the Benelli?
Because peasant guns don't come with a purple cloth.
I'm like, no, it's a CZ. And it costs half the price of the Benelli.
Yeah, CZs are supposed to be hipster guns, but I think they're great. They're fantastic.
It ran flawlessly. I was super impressed.
Have I ever told you about shooting the military rifle match in Charlotte, the battle rifle match, so-called?
No, you didn't.
So I used to shoot a month, and it was run quarterly, and I went maybe 5 or 6 times over the course of 4 or 5 years. So I didn't go every time. But it was iron sights. Whatever you had, it had to have irons. No glass was allowed, and you had to knock down. The targets were 8 inches by 13 inches. I think they're actually Caterpillar track segments.
Right. Yeah, but
they were on metal posts.
But you're running a battle rifle, so I guess it could run from AR-15 all the way up to 308.
So most of the guys there were running. When it started, because this is kind of a transitional time. When we started, most guys were running some kind of antique or collector rifle, like
M1 Garand,
M1A or M1 Garand or FAL. Magazine capacity was still good because you had to knock down 8 targets in a minute, and those are really small targets, unless you know exactly what you're doing, which I did not. So anyways, the very, very fastest time I ever saw was with an FAL.
Mm-hmm.
But that same guy would hit with whatever he touched. He had basically the same time with an M1 Garand.
Gotcha.
8 shots, 8 hits.
Yeah.
Which is because all your time on that is lost in reloads. You only have a minute.
That's right. That was my challenge in the 3-gun was the shotgun reloads.
Yeah,
because I've got 5-round capacity. Now they limited everyone to 5-round capacity to start out with.
But that said, the group that had the highest average was the AR shooters. Just because they don't take as much fiddling to get an acceptable amount of accuracy. Right. Something like a BAR. There's a couple guys that had semi-automatic BARs. It just take a little bit more fiddling. The ergonomics are not as good. Gotcha. So anyways, but it's a lot of fun. I definitely think any kind of practical shooting is good for your skills.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Make you breathe hard.
Honestly, the worst part of the 3-gun was when we moved on to pistol, and I was freezing by that point.
Yeah.
And I had to expend 36 rounds, I believe.
Ooh.
A lot of rounds.
What were you shooting there?
So
in the
I was running my M&P model original 1.0, and it was
that one's really more like a 0.5 because you bought it in 2009.
I bought it when it was like brand new off the shelf, like coming off the factory line. I love it. It runs flawlessly for me. I did have an issue with that though. As I was firing, that was my only weapons malfunction, if you will. As I was firing, one round did not want to go up into the chamber properly.
Oh.
And so I had to rack the slide. Had another one that jammed as it was headed up the feed ramp, and so I dropped it out again. Now my issue is I would have dropped the mag. But had I dropped the mag,
you wouldn't have had any more bullets.
I would not have had the ammunition to finish the stage.
That sounds like a magazine. Might be time to replace that magazine, which the magazine's 10 years old, so...
It's still pretty good. And I wouldn't replace the mag. I'd probably just change the spring if I do anything to it.
Right.
Those mags are expensive.
Yeah, they are.
Don't want to do that. But
yeah, CC mags and Smith & Wesson mags are both pricey.
The best time going through the whole thing, including the issues, including missing, was 205 was the score. I ended up with a 234. The guy with the highest ended up with a 405, and that's because he was running one of those speed load shotguns that could load up like 15 rounds into the shotgun at once. It was basically a stripper clip that he just plugs into the shotgun, and it loads them up in. I kid you not, Tombstone.
Was it a tube?
A tube
magazine?
Tube magazine, and it's like a stripper clip on the tube magazine.
I've never heard of something like that.
It was incredible. Look up Speed Load Tube Magazine, and you could probably find it.
I'm looking at it.
Yeah,
right
like
now.
he had like 6 of them set up on his hip that he just whipped out and just plugged right up. And I don't know if he's typically using it for like skeet shooting or what he's using this shotgun for, but it had a specially designed ramp right in front of the trigger guard to slope it down in, so it kind of just connected right up.
That's wild.
It was incredible. I was pretty impressed. But so, anyways, little story from yesterday. We have so much to get to tonight. We've got obviously the Mueller investigation. I like calling him Mueller for some reason.
No, I know it looks like Mueller, but it's not.
Mueller investigation. We've got Avanatti, the creepy porn lawyer, has been arrested.
Indeed.
We've got Jussie Smallet. I mean, Tombstone, the DNC is the gift that keeps on giving.
It is.
It really is. And one of these days, they're going to learn this lesson. And they're eventually going to figure out that they just need to stop. No, they won't. Who am I kidding?
And we're going to build that wall. It's going to be a great wall. And let me just tell you, Mexico's going to pay for the wall. Never, ever give up. Don't give up. Don't allow it to happen. If there's a concrete wall in front of you, go through it, go over it, go around it, but get to the other side of that wall.
Tombstone. Wall building.
The music is a great background for that intro. It makes me happy. It's just so happy.
I love the Hispanic culture. We have so many excellent Mexican restaurants here in Norfolk because of our large Hispanic population. And it is wonderful. We have a taco truck. I perused its goodness the other night. And they sell 3 tacos, rice and beans for $7. Flat rate.
3 tacos for $7.
3 tacos, but they're full tacos, freshly made, full tacos with rice and beans, $7. I'm like, that's not bad at all. We hit up this other Mexican place the other day with the best queso I have ever had. Fresh nachos, like fried fresh in the back, and the best queso cheese I've ever eaten. Oh my goodness. But speaking of Hispanics and cheese and walls, did you hear about
this? May be the best whiplash segue we've ever done in the history of the show.
It is. Cosimo Caveiro.
You're killing me.
I got it. Casimo?
No, you did not get it. I don't know what you did, but getting it is not something you did.
Cavallaro.
That's Caballero.
Caballero. Okay, close enough.
The V is a B.
The V is a B?
You did not know this?
And the L's are Y's.
Correct.
So, Caballero?
Caballero.
Caballero. Okay. He is a Los Angeles-based artist, and he is building a wall. He is building a wall out of cheese along the southern border with Mexico.
Is he building it out of Swiss cheese? Because then we would presume it's a porous border.
There would be holes in that wall.
There would be holes in it. Could be problematic for the stated purpose. But this honestly sounds like an art installation, not a piece of functional art.
It is. So he is known for making perishable structures out of chocolate.
By the way, I know you said this was an article, but I can't find the article, and I think you're lying. Because
I promise you it's an article.
Is this one of those deals where truth is stranger than fiction?
Oh, no. Well, truth is stranger than fiction, but I just
I found it. I found it. KCTV5. All right, I believe you now.
Yeah. So
yeah, but I've often suspected that your version of the show notes is different than my version, and you're very close to confirming that right now. I just want you to know that.
Sometimes they are.
You and Jeff and sometimes Alyssa are hiding things from me in the show notes.
I do hide some articles because I want the raw reaction. I honestly want the raw reaction.
Oh, you didn't tell me this guy's motto, because his motto is amazing.
Go ahead, tell us, Tombstone.
It's Make America Great Again.
Yes, that is the motto for the wall.
Grate.
Grate.
That's perfect.
As in we're grating cheese. So he's ordered 20 bricks of cotija cheese. I don't even know what cotija is.
It sounds Hispanic.
It is.
I'm Googling it. I'm plugging it into the Google machine now.
It's a hard cheese that originates from Mexico.
Of course.
It's very similar.
It looks vaguely like feta cheese.
It looks kind of like that, but almost like a Parmesan as well. Like crumbly. I'm really hungry now.
Well,
I need cheese. He's hoping to. So he's gotten 30 feet of the wall up.
How high is it though?
I'm not sure. I think being an art exhibit, it doesn't matter. He hopes to extend it another 1,000 feet though. So, in all essence,
I feel like it's going to smell really ripe after a few days.
In all honesty, he may actually have built more walls on the Mexican border than we've been able to build the entire Trump administration.
All right, just shut it down. Just shut it down.
Too close to home.
Is Mexico paying for this wall? I bet they're not.
No, it sounds like Americans are.
Mexico is going to pay for our wall. So, Donald Trump said so.
You want a whiplash segment, Tombstone? Because I'm going to give you a whiplash segment.
Lay it on me. I'm ready.
Any guess how much cheese the American government has stockpiled?
We have a cheese stockpile?
Yes, we do.
Is it
okay?
What? Hold on. I want to guess. What unit of measurement is this cheese stockpile measured in?
Would you like to go? How about you go pounds?
Pounds.
Go pounds.
Oh my goodness. 100,000 pounds.
Tombstone. Oh my goodness. No, you're way off. You're way off.
Low?
You're way low.
Okay, hang on. Let me make a second guess because this is too good. I can't.
Okay.
2 million pounds.
Oh no, keep going higher.
Are you serious?
I kid you not. Tombstone, you're off. You're off by 1.1 billion. Tombstone.
Wait. How can you? I'm so confused right now.
Tombstone. The United States has 1.39 billion pounds of cheese in hidden locations across the United States.
You are pulling my chain. You are making this up.
I swear. The United States has 1.39 million pounds that they have bought up from cheese manufacturers across the United States in order to inflate the price of milk.
Oh, so it's not about ruggedizing our cheese infrastructure. It's about government meddling in the economy.
Exactly. It is because
I was elated and then I was disappointed because I was like, yes, Uncle Sam's looking out for us stockpiling cheese in case Iran hits us with an EMP. No, they're inflating the price of milk. That's how it goes.
Yeah, so 1993, we had 481 million pounds of cheese stored up. June of 2018, it's 1.39 billion. It's way higher than that now.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what are they doing with all this cheese?
They are stockpiling it.
Are they destroying it eventually?
They won't actually tell, but the Department of Agriculture says that it's stockpiled.
Stockpiling is different than just removing it from the market.
I agree.
That's a totally different thing.
But analysts say that commercial warehouse stocks have swelled because processors have too much milk. And so the Department of Agriculture is buying it up. They said I think it's a 16% increase. It's the numbers are absolutely ridiculous. The numbers are ridiculous.
So if you're in the milk market, the dairy segment, then it's basically free money.
Well, so no, Tombstone, not for the farmers. The farmers are being paid dirt. It's the processors that get paid the money.
That doesn't make any sense.
So farmers are paid $15 on average of around $15 per 100 pounds of milk. The pound it's about
which is crazy.
5 pounds per gallon,
which is crazy to me.
Yeah, 5 pounds per gallon, and so that's 20 gallons per 100 pounds.
Which, by the way, milk is still one of the cheapest drinkable liquids you can buy by the gallon.
Yes, I mean I mean
you can buy Coca-Cola cheaper, but not much cheaper.
I buy quote unquote name brand milk out here. Mm-hmm. I don't buy the Walmart milk. And we pay $4 a gallon.
You're a milk hipster too.
I am. So okay, if you really want to play the milk hipster card with me, we've got a dairy. Like 30 miles north of us that supplies milk.
We're not even getting into the pasteurized versus non-pasteurized conversation.
No. This is pasteurized. This is pasteurized milk.
Okay.
It comes in those beautiful glass bottles. Jars.
My goodness.
In like half gallon.
How big are they quart jars or 2 quart jars or
half
what?
Gallons. Half gallons. So 2 quart.
So 2 quart.
They sell little pints of like chocolate milk.
Oh.
Okay. You remember Monument Farms Dairy in Vermont?
Yes.
Best chocolate milk I have ever had.
Delicious chocolate milk.
Burbox Dairy is better.
Really?
Burbox Dairy is better, and it's because of the glass.
Well, clearly, I need to organize a road trip out to Vermont,
you absolutely
Nebraska,
do,
and partake of this glorious chocolate milk in a bottle.
So hipster milk. I'm in. It tastes better.
All right. Fair enough.
And the
you can't. It's very hard to find real chocolate milk here in South Carolina.
So
most of it is like some kind of like protein powder mix made by Nestle or some other. It's a similar concoction.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know why that is, because everybody should love chocolate milk. Everybody should drink at least one a week.
I don't.
In my opinion,
I do not drink as much chocolate milk.
That's your health advice from Tombstone at thefrontporchshow.com.
That's right.
Which do I have any email in my inbox? Because I haven't looked in like a year.
No, I keep an eye on that. No,
I don't have any hate mail.
You're good.
Y'all are slacking.
I have hate mail sent directly to the trash bin. So
okay.
It's like
how much hate mail have we gotten?
We've gotten some dislikes, but who cares? That's not our fault. That's their fault.
All publicity is good publicity.
That's right. Tombstone. They should like us, regardless.
They should like us.
Because
we're
honest.
And share us because.
So, are we? Yes, they should like us and share us. That is
share us with your friends.
Share us,
like
please.
chocolate milk. We're meant to be shared.
Ooh, no, chocolate milk is not meant to be shared.
I mean the concept of chocolate milk, not the individual bottle, but.
No, because I won't share my bottle of chocolate milk.
We're gonna have to start preaching the gospel of chocolate milk here on the show because it needs to happen.
Chocolate milk is a beautiful concoction of happiness.
Mm-hmm.
Tombstone, are we good covering the quantitative cheesing? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm still. I would really like to talk to somebody who knows what in the sweet heck is going on. Wait, don't we have a person in the USDA?
We do. We
need to ask that person if they won't come on the show. What is going on?
I think he'd give us a call. I think we
need to arrange that.
I think we could get him.
All right. We're curious.
So about that cheese.
Yes.
Careful, don't cut it.
You're fired.
Dad jokes, man. I can get away with it. Well, that last segment was a bit cheesy there, Tombstone.
I'm telling you, I even though you own the show, I will lobby to have you fired if you keep this up.
I tell you, man.
All in fun, of course.
So just to finish up that article, or just to kind of sum it all up, we don't know where the cheese is stockpiled. The USDA and the Department of Agriculture will not tell us where it is.
Okay.
Because I think that would be amazing.
It would. But they probably don't want people wondering who moved their cheese.
It makes me wonder if it's all been destroyed.
It probably has. I mean, there's no point keeping it. It doesn't last forever.
No.
And they're not obviously not keeping it to sell it, because that defeats the purpose.
But I mean, how do you destroy
sell
cheese? It's not like you can burn it. I mean, it's like a giant fondue.
I don't know. I have no idea. Maybe in the FBI office on the 5th floor, they're having fondue parties, and we just don't know.
Every day. They could.
Every day.
Department of Agriculture. Credit where credit is due. The quantitative cheesing joke was courtesy of John Newton, the Director of Marketing Intelligence at the American Farm Bureau Federation.
I feel like we should make friends with him and have him on the show.
I can try. I'll try it. I'll reach out to him. I am adding him to the notes of people I need to reach out and contact.
All right.
Tombstone, tell me about the creepy porn lawyer, Avanatti.
So, if you don't know, Micheal Avanatti was he charged or was he actually arrested this week? I forget which. I should probably
I believe
know
he was
things.
arrested and charged this week.
So, but he was charged by the FBI for extortion in California.
Now, remind me who Avanatti is, and remind the guests if they don't remember.
So, Micheal Avanatti represented two people. I should say, I think it was just two people, but Stormy Daniels was one.
All right.
The
Stormy Daniels was
so-called adult film star who
allegedly.
No, she's definitely an adult film star.
Well, right. No.
You weren't alleging. Sorry,
I was alleging.
No, she's definitely an adult film star, and I mean, all those things are in quotes.
Yes. I understand. Just tread lightly.
Goodness.
I know where you're going.
Yes. I mean, Jeff's not here, so I have a little bit of leeway, but Jeff is the conscience of this program.
Are you okay, Timson? So
I'm good.
She allegedly
she attempted to sue the president for an amount of money, which I don't remember what it was. It was like $500,000, something like that, something ridiculous.
It was, and I don't.
And Avanatti represented her. Avanatti also represented Christina Blasey Ford.
That's right.
No, pardon me. Did he, or was that Gloria Allred? Because he represented somebody in that fiasco, and he was the one. No, he represented the lady that made the claims about that one, the house party or something like that.
So obviously he represented Stormy Daniels, but
right.
He also represented it's Julie Swetnick.
That was the one.
Yeah.
She was one with the crazy eyes.
The realtor eyes.
The realtor eyes. That's right.
Crazy realtor eyes.
Has there ever been a more apt description?
No, there hasn't.
I submit there has not been. Okay, and so even more recently, Avanatti has been how did they term it?
So
one of the people in the Nexium case, which was the so-called sex cult that afflicted members of the rich and famous. You know the one I'm talking about, right?
I know exactly what you're talking about, but it's too weird for me.
So without going into lascivious detail, so Avanatti is buddies with Mark Garagos. Mark Garagos is most famous for representing O.J. Simpson during the eponymous trial back in the 90s.
So we're basically saying all these people are a little bit sleazy to begin with?
Yeah,
like shady character?
I will say that I would not say Mark Garagos is sleazy just based on the fact that he represented O.J. Simpson, because there's a lot of it's no, never mind. He's a liar. Forget it. Forget what I just said. I'm not going to say anything nice about liars.
If you make your hand bigger, it doesn't fit in the glove, Tombstone.
What?
Oh, you don't remember?
How did he make his? I'm familiar with the phrase. If it doesn't fit, you must acquit. But how did he make his hand bigger?
O.J. Simpson's hand would not fit in the glove.
Right, because it was the wrong size.
Was it? Or did he kind of expand his hand as he was sticking it in the glove and not allow his hand to get in?
Oh, see, I don't remember
if the glove doesn't fit. Anyways, point being, they're all kind of a little bit shady.
Yes.
And so Avenatti this week.
So Garagos was representing one of these people in the Nexium trials, and then we found out during the trial, Garagos' client found out that Avenatti was assisting Garagos, and she didn't know about it. This is after Avenatti has been charged by the FBI. So
this whole thing seems a little bit convoluted.
This all happened in the space of like 3 days. Yeah, if it seems convoluted, that's because it is. So, but the reason that Avenatti was actually charged was for attempting to extort Nike
for $25 million
over an athlete kickback program, and Garagos, of course, was tied up in that as well. So, and here's what's hilarious. So, what appears to have happened is that Avenatti set up a phone call with Nike's lawyers about the kind of money he wanted to keep from going public with this news. Okay, you cannot make this up.
That's called blackmail, there.
That's extortion. That's extortion. That's what he got. So, again, allegedly. So Avenatti calls Nike's lawyers, rolls out this offer. They hang up. They call him back a couple days later and say, "Hey, can you call us again so we can go over some more details of this?" They record the conversation for the FBI. Actually, the FBI might have been listening on the call because I'm sure they notified the FBI. Get this. Avenatti is charged. The same day he's charged, he goes ahead and rolls out his accusations against Nike.
Yes. Like
he didn't stop.
3 hours.
He didn't even slow down. Yeah, it might not even that. It was like 1 or 2 or 3 hours. It was ridiculous.
That was hilarious.
So Michael Avenatti continued attempting to extort Nike after he'd been charged for extortion. But the reality is Avenatti has pretty much exaggerated the truth and or straight up lied every time he's turned around ever since he's come up against Donald Trump. And so I actually read a really interesting theory about Donald Trump the other day, because this really does go back to Trump. Like, I'm not going to say he wouldn't have been charged. He wouldn't have tried to extort Nike, but we would never have heard of who he was. The only reason that Avenatti is a household name, hopefully not really a household name, but
is because
a newsworthy name, is because of the Stormy Daniels thing.
So Stormy Daniels was contacted, Stormy Daniels was asked about Avenatti, and she said,
and she shut up about it, didn't she?
She said his claims were much, much bigger than they actually were in real life.
Yeah.
And that he made a lot of stuff up.
Yeah, I mean, he seems like just a total scumbag.
Right.
So, but what's funny about Trump? So Trump, has a lot. There's a lot going on inside that man's brain. I couldn't even attempt to explain half of it, and that's why I don't try. But Trump has a very interesting knack. He makes people crazy. Like, Trump derangement syndrome is a thing, right? But he makes people who are already unstable fall victim to Dunning-Kruger, and they wildly overestimate their own success in going up against Trump. How many careers have been dashed on the rocks of Trump hate in the last 3 years? Avenatti is only...
Next segment, we'll talk about Jussie Smallet. So,
that's
his career's
that's
gone.
one, right? Although, I don't know. The Chicago DA is trying really hard to save it for him. Avenatti's one. Who was the lady who did the cut off Trump head thing?
Yeah.
You know who I'm talking about. I cannot remember her name.
Not Sarah Silverman.
No.
The woman who... redhead.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I just can't think who it is.
Oh, what was... Kathy Griffin. That's right. Kathy Griffin.
There's been a handful of others, but what he does is he encourages people to flame out spectacularly and make themselves look ridiculous and make themselves look ridiculous in the process. And in the process, he also, in a small way, boosts his own credibility as these people flame out in the process of trying to take him down.
So after this week, have you seen the presidential poll numbers?
I've heard they went up, but I haven't actually looked at them. Yeah. Yeah. And that's really they've been inching their way up for the last year and a half. Really, ever since the Mueller investigation started. That was kind of the low point.
No, you're absolutely right.
And that gives us a whiplash segue into our next topic, which is so Attorney General Barr wrote up a 4-page summary of the supposedly 300-page Mueller report. So, folks, I apologize that we're going a little bit deep into political wonkery here. I actually really enjoy this stuff, but, I know not everybody enjoys to the same level of detail, but this investigation, the results of it it really is the political event of the decade, if not the first half of the century. Kind of a big deal. So Mueller his scope was to investigate for collusion with Russia to throw the 2016 presidential election to Donald Trump.
Right.
Okay. Without rehashing the entire history of that supposition, Barr's synopsis, which some people have decided not to trust Barr, which is their privilege. Right. But Barr has said that Mueller's report, which is going to have to be redacted before it can be made public, completely made public, there's no collusion and there's no more indictments coming. Well, so everybody that has been charged, everybody that is going to be charged has been charged. The president was not interviewed. The president's lawyers are saying that they cooperated as much as humanly possible, far more than the Obama and Bush and Clinton administrations cooperated on similar efforts, similar investigations. Which honestly, I'm inclined to believe because, while I think the president is ridiculous at times, I don't think he's criminal, at least not in the measure of Russian collusion. And it wouldn't have really paid to dig in again because Mueller has kind of what was the investigator's name in Les Miserables? Javert. He has kind of an Inspector Javert thing about him, like he's constantly plodding along, and it kind of a little bit of a scary spectral presence looking over the shoulder of the Trump presidency. And apparently he got everything he wanted. He did ask for a face-to-face interview with the president. The president wisely declined and provided a extensive written statement. I don't know if we'll ever see that. I would like to see it. I know a lot of liberals are not going to be happy until they see it.
We're not going to see. It's going to be all redacted. So here's the thing.
How much of the Mueller report will be redacted? I couldn't guess, but yeah, go ahead.
I would bet most of it's redacted, and the reason is this: Donald Trump was exonerated. Okay, they found him not. They said there was not any evidence.
And on the obstruction thing, you cannot have obstruction of justice if there's no underlying crime.
Right. Exactly.
So it's like a zero-sum game when it comes to speculating about obstruction.
And so the problem is that
the president has consistently acted in terms of what he's said, what he's done about what he's said about James Comey, what he's done about James Comey. He's consistently acted like a man who is under siege by his own government. Every time he turns around.
Right.
I'm sorry, I keep interrupting you.
No, and I agree with you. But I guess my whole point is they're not going to try. They're not going to get to see everything because there's nothing to see.
Right.
You can't see something. You can't see something when there's nothing there. And when the person wasn't charged, it's not admissible in court. And therefore, it's private.
Right.
Any correspondence is private. It's private information. An investigation is private. I can't go look into for instance, I can't go look into the Jussie Smallet investigation. It's private. It's absolutely private.
So to go back just a little bit, dogleg back to the Avanatti thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I feel like this is a good time to remind ourselves, going back to careers that have been dashed upon the rocks of Trump. Do you remember what Michael Avanatti was doing back in October 15th of 2018
Oh man,
That's a really specific date, but October 2018 in any case.
October 2018. I don't remember, but I do remember. So this is totally side note. He was a race car driver.
Avanatti was?
Yes, he was.
Oh, that's because it's a rich man's sport. Although, as we know, he wasn't really rich. He might not have ever been rich.
Probably not. He raced in Le Mans. 24-hour Le Mans. Yeah. Anyways, that's totally beside the point. I don't have a clue what he was doing.
October of 2018, Micheal Avanatti made.
I remember.
What was it?
Wasn't he beating his girlfriend or his wife?
Oh no! I mean, maybe, but he was in South Carolina doing a presidential run exploration.
Oh, that's right. No, he was arrested. I think back. He was November,
arrested
December.
in the fall for some kind of domestic issue. I don't know what became of that. Well, I don't want to speak without facts on something like that. I'll speculate all day about his extortion attempts, but
I'll agree with you on that. Either way, I think justice is going to be served because he's going to be serving a long time. You don't get off easy on extortion.
So, but here's what's funny is he fooled so many people, and I don't mean regular people that follow him on Twitter. I mean he fooled a lot of very powerful people that gave him a platform in the Democratic Party. But,
yeah. Oh, without a doubt.
Which is not to say by the stretch of the imagination that Republicans have not at times embraced cheats and grifters. I think it goes along with personalities that you find fluttering in and out of politics, but Avanatti is a bad apple, no question about it.
Oh, without a doubt. When we come back, we're gonna dive into the Smallet stuff.
Please.
It's so annoying. Honestly, this week in news has just been exhausting.
You're exhausting.
Yeah, I am.
My favorite word is the word.
We got an issue in America. Too many good docs are getting out of business. Too many OBGYNs aren't able to practice their love with women all across this country.
Back up, you creep.
And Bernie Sanders might run. Apparently, some folks really want to see a pot-smoking socialist in the White House. We could get a third Obama term after all.
Oh, Tombstone.
He said without a hint of irony.
He did.
That is actually one of my favorite intros. We definitely need to keep it in the rotation.
Of course.
It's that one in the series of tubes.
It's like a series of tubes. I think I can actually do that voice.
So Jussie Smallet, who I've just recently learned how to say his name correctly to my shame.
It's Jussie, not Jesse.
I know, I got that part. It's the back part that I had trouble with.
I kept saying it was Smallet.
That doesn't make any sense.
I know.
No W.
I was Jussie Smallet, and I just
Smallet.
I know.
Is he swole?
It was ignorance on my part.
Can we play Chris Rock's comments on?
No,
Jussie Smollett.
No, we can't. We can't.
Can I read them?
You can read. Yes, you can read them, but just edit yourself.
Oh yeah, because he uses some wordy dirds, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
I forgot about that.
I mean, it's not bad.
Shame on me.
Terrible, but it was enough to make me say, "Oh, I can't use that in the show." When I heard it,
no, we can't.
Yeah. But it was no. So Smallet, Jussie, was arrested a couple weeks ago, like 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago now, for reporting a crime that didn't happen, that he actually paid to have happen.
Yes.
And what ended up happening last week, or Monday morning, the charges against him were dropped. And Jussie comes out claiming that he was exonerated, and the court found him completely exonerated.
Which is not true.
That he was completely honest in his story.
Oh my goodness.
The fact is that couldn't be further from the truth.
So we have found out now, we meaning the public at large, not us in particular, because our research skills are not that awesome.
We're not journalists, we're opinion.
We're not journalists, we're very highly skilled opinion fabricators, I think is the technical term. Are we engineers now? Because everybody's an engineer. We're opinion engineers.
Opinion engineers, yes.
The DA,
except Tombstone in the states where it's illegal to put engineer after your name. If you're not actually certified, that is a thing.
Is that a thing?
So I just want to clarify.
Well, I would much rather be an opinion engineer than an opinion technician, which is really
my lawyers are whispering in my ear saying we have to specify on that we're not actually engineers in the states that we're not allowed to be engineers in.
Okay,
but all other states we are.
Null and void. So null and void is where prohibited, as I say on the radio.
That's right.
Because we are on the radio.
That's right.
Anyways, so the DA in Chicago, Kim Foxx, who said she was going to recuse herself because of her personal connection to the matter, did not, in fact, recuse herself.
That I find extremely fascinating.
Fascinating meaning wrong, yes. But he's been cut loose. He let the city of Chicago keep his bond, which was $10,000.
And for some reason, he volunteered for community service.
So as I understand, he volunteered for Jussie Jackson's NGO or PAC or whatever there in Chicago while his case was being worked out. And what we have been told is that the DA looked at this and said he's already doing what amounts to functional community service, and because he's already doing that, that's all we were going to assign him to do anyway, so we might as well just drop the charges.
So basically,
that is literally what we've been told.
Basically, they claim they don't charge people for this crime,
which is not true because they just did. What they mean to say is we don't convict people for this crime if they have enough money.
That's what I meant. That's what I meant.
Yeah, right. So, but the funny thing is, my favorite part of the story is Rahm Emanuel did a complete 180 from the day that the charges were dropped to yesterday. Do you? On when the charges were dropped, what was that, Monday? Tuesday? I forget what it was.
Monday or Tuesday. Charges were dropped.
Rahm Emanuel went on television in Chicago with the chief of police, or they have a different functionary for police there in Chicago who's an appointment. I forget what it is. Anyways, he went up there with the police guys. He said, this was a whitewash, his terms, interesting term to use for a black man that's been accused of committing a hate crime. Right. He was all incensed about it. Like, he went on and on and on about how awful this is. Can't flash forward to yesterday. And can we roll tape on this?
Yes, we can.
Look, I've always said from day one, this is a Trump-free zone, the city of Chicago, and I mean it. Let me be really clear about something. The only reason Jussie Smallet thought he could take advantage of a hoax about a hate crime is for the environment, the toxic environment that Donald Trump created. This is a president who drew a moral equivalency between people who are trying to perpetuate bigotry and those who are trying to fight bigotry. As somebody who started his own journey on politics, fighting the neo-Nazis in Skokie and then down to Marquette Park, President Trump should literally take his politics, move it aside. He's created a toxic environment. Now he's created a toxic...
Tombstone, what does this have anything to do with anything?
I don't know. I mean, I do know, but it's because it's Rahm Emanuel. Okay, Rahm Emanuel has always been an apparatchik for the DNC. We just get that out there. We just say that because he was deeply embedded in the Obama administration. What was he? Obama's chief of staff? I can't remember.
Yes, he was.
And he was preceded by David Axelrod, I think.
Yes.
But anyways, no, it's just folks. It's Donald Trump's fault that Jussie Smollett made up a hate crime.
It is.
But mind you, Rahm Emanuel is really mad that he made up a hate crime and is not going to be convicted for it. But he's even more madder.
He's even more mad about the political
that
climate.
It's Donald Trump's fault that it happened. So, I mean, I don't even know what else to say about that.
It's embrace and pivot.
Embrace the suck
and pivot.
Yeah.
Which I believe we predicted on the show that Smollett was not going to get in trouble at all for this, which he effectively didn't.
Yeah,
because charges have been dropped, and charges have been dropped, and the other thing is his record has been sealed.
Yes,
now,
which they also tell us was not supposed to happen, but it also hasn't been unsealed yet. So I think that's going to end up being like the so-called recusal,
right?
The DA. I don't know.
So here's the thing. What was the other interesting situation was that it was Michelle Obama's chief of staff, wasn't she? Or was that the Attorney General of the state?
No, I think it was Michelle Obama's chief of staff had a connection to the Smollett family. and she made the connection to the DEA. She was the bridge.
Yeah, I was going to say, but they reached out to her.
Correctly.
Or I guess Smallet reached out.
Smallet
reached out to Obama's chief of staff,
right?
Who then reached out to the Chicago attorney. It's so convoluted. It's so convoluted, and all it does is it speaks to the.
Can I read just to round this out? Can I read Chris Rock's comments?
Yeah, absolutely.
So this weekend, Chris Rock was at the 50th anniversary NAACP Image Awards, which I guess it's an entertainment related award
Smallet
show.
Was supposed to receive.
He was
an award for this, right?
It was,
which makes it even funnier.
So, but he lost that award to somebody on Grey's Anatomy, which I didn't know Grey's Anatomy was still on, but that's neither here nor there. So Rock said, they said no Jussie Smollett jokes. I know. What a waste of light skin. You know what I could do with that light skin, that curly hair? My career would be out of here. I'd be running Hollywood, which I think is hilarious. So I don't know. What can you do? Chris Rock is always worth a listen.
Did you? I know this is a blast from the past. One of my favorite Chris Rock movies was Rush Hour.
I haven't seen
with
it.
Jackie Chan. This is like circa 1995,
That's an old one.
94 maybe.
Hang on. This is going to be my assigned watching for this week. 1998.
Should be 98. Okay. Now you don't.
No. That's Chris Tucker.
Oh, that's Chris Tucker. Well, never mind then. Well, look at that.
You're fired.
Chris Tucker, I'm fired. So what was the one? Wasn't he in one? Wasn't Chris Rock in one?
I don't know, man.
Now I got to look it up. Now I'm really frustrated. He was in. Oh, of course he was in Madagascar. I remember that. He was in a movie a really long time ago. It doesn't matter, honestly. Doesn't matter. Oh, and see now I feel terribly ignorant, Tombstone.
Ignorant.
Help me out of the situation.
Yeah, I don't know. Your 90s lore of pop culture goes deeper than mine.
That's because you were so young, Tombstone. You know, all 2 months younger than me.
Yeah.
Anything else to polish off this Smollett story? I don't know.
That's all I've got for this one. I said everything needs to be said, and supposedly the FBI is still doing some kind of investigation, but you know,
so that's going to be interesting. And supposedly the DOJ is looking into the Attorney General in the state stuff. So it'll be something to watch. But honestly, nothing's going to happen. We're going to welcome you back to the sweet sounds of the Front Porch Show.
Just kill me now.
Oh,
please.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
You're enjoying that way too much. Frankly, you're just weirding me.
Frankly, you were enjoying that way too much. I mean, I saw you over there.
I was in the zone, not going to lie.
You were. To each their own.
So, great background as I'm still paging through the Hugo Boss catalog for women's wear.
Right.
Fantastic,
isn't it? Fantastic.
So we have a very strange, statistically anomalous story for you at the top of this segment.
Yeah.
A lady in China has given birth to two twins, of course, because TW is two. You're welcome. And the two twins have two different fathers.
Yeah, isn't that
which is
interesting?
Extremely unusual. Interesting is not, in fact, the word that I would use. I mean, it kind of is.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah. Babies were born. Dad thought they didn't look alike. Didn't look like him.
Which was not just his imagination. Apparently,
no, because he then got a DNA test, which proved him right.
And that's very interesting because so. you've got 2 kids. How alike do your kids look?
I mean, they're similar, but not.
They're similar, but not identical, right?
I mean, look,
So,
when they were born, it wasn't like, oh my goodness, that's my child.
So I guess what I'm driving at is here, because my 2 kids look very different.
Yeah.
In coloring and eye color and facial features and everything.
Yeah.
I wonder if he already suspected something was up, because that going just based on facial features, I don't know if that would be enough.
I wonder.
I guess I'd have to see the kids, but
now remember, this is China. I wonder if this was enough to get them to do a DNA test.
maybe.
And then obviously, the paternity test was correct, I guess.
Yeah.
Or
his suspicions were justified. Yeah.
So, did you know this was even possible? I didn't know this was even possible.
I did not know. I assumed this was impossible due to the mechanics of fertilization and conception, but
so this is called
incorrect.
Heteropaternal superfecundation.
Yes.
And so
you actually did it very good. You did a much better job of that than you did with Mr. Caballero's name.
Apparently, I mean, obviously, this is super, super rare. So little weird story here. I had a dog as a kid. When I was a kid, we had a dog, and she was a product of this.
Huh.
Her mother was kind of like the roaming female in the town, and ended up getting bred by 2 dogs, 2 separate males.
Fascinating.
One being, she was a Springer, basically purebred Springer. She got bred by a Doberman, and she got bred by a Lab.
Huh.
And so, not Addison, her name was Majesty. She was a Springer Doberman mix. So she had like the colorings of the Doberman, but the looks of the or the physical features of the Springer.
Wild.
So it was very interesting looking dog. So I knew it was possible in dogs, but apparently this is super rare in people.
So apparently it's so rare that nobody actually knows how rare it is. It's one of those things.
Well, Tombstone, that's because faithful, mates don't go off and integrate with other people.
Right. But they say they don't know if it's like, I lost the number, but it's like a 1 in 400 or 1 in 13,000, something like that.
Here's my other question, Tombstone. How many twins that are born, non-identical twins, because obviously identical twins are from the same egg. Mm-hmm. How many non-identical twins in our society are actually products of this? So
this is actually a good question, because I've known a few pairs of fraternal twins.
Yeah.
And they were very, very similar looking, but if not identical.
Right.
In fact, I know one set of twins, and people actually think they're identical, but I don't think they are.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Ooh.
because they're just different enough. I don't know.
Do they have different daddies?
No.
Oh, okay. I'm just making sure. Watching out.
If they did, they wouldn't look nearly identical. That's what I'm saying.
A good point.
That was the whole point. Is like, even twins that are not identical bear very, very strong resemblance. Oh. So I don't know.
It's such a weird. Yeah.
I'm kind of tempted to punch this into YouTube and find out if I can find pictures.
Pictures of what?
Of twins that are results of super fecundity or whatever it's called.
Oh, well, you're not going to find very many results because there was here we have.
Just let me look it up. Gosh, don't
Tombstone. All I'm saying.
See, there's already a search. Somebody's already searched for it on YouTube because it suggested it to me.
Or it just suggests it to you because it knows that's what you would search for.
Look here, three cases of twins with different fathers with pictures.
Yeah, so I have 4 showing up on Wikipedia. And 2 were from IFV or IVF, intro vitro fertilization. But 2 were supposedly natural. Yeah. What are you thinking?
I'm just looking. I don't have thoughts yet. I'm just curious.
Okay. I'm just curious. I mean, So yeah, just an absolutely bizarre. Alyssa just brought me something yummy. Oh, she brought me tacos. I'm telling you. How cool is that? Sitting here doing the show and your wife shows up with tacos.
Can't beat that. Carissa was going to bring me coffee, but I think she's still tied up with bedtime.
Bedtime is a very difficult time.
So, all right. So anyways, yeah, I don't even want to talk about the difficulties of bedtime right now because it just makes me sad.
It's frustrating.
As I look at Hugo Boss.
Speaking of children.
Yes.
No, so bedtime has been absolutely difficult for us the last 5 days because Trevor has had an ear infection and a bronchitis.
Oh.
And so poor little kid hasn't been sleeping through the night. So apparently Mama makes the best bed.
Of course.
And of course waking up like 3 times during the middle of the night screaming.
But the problem is you're
murder.
also in that bed.
I am. So it makes things very difficult.
Do your kids prop their feet up on your face while they're sleeping?
I am so sick and tired of it, Tombstone. What is with that? We're all laying the same direction, and the kid has to be the opposite way, parallel.
I have woken up several times in the last year or so with tiny toes dangled in front of my eyes.
What is with that?
I think something about toddlers, and I think it actually might be related to growth spurts. If your legs are sore from growth spurts, it actually helps to have them a little bit elevated. That's my working theory.
Which is like all the time.
It is all the time. That's my working theory. Plus, Johanna just has restless legs, anyways.
Yeah.
So
we've got one of them.
I don't know why, but yeah, she'll be laying crossways in the bed. I've woken up to toes in my back, fingers in my neck, the whole 9 yards.
When I sense there's a child anywhere near my bed, immediately I face the other direction because I know. But then
you're going to get feet. You're going to get feet in your face.
I'm going to get feet. So inevitably, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to roll over, and then I just get feet right in the back, and they like grind. They grind.
Yes, they do like the dog.
And so the worst part is Trevor when he's in bed with us. Oh goodness. Mm-hmm. He's just long enough now where if he starts swinging his legs, he's going to catch me. You know where it counts. And I don't want to be caught where it counts.
Oh, goodness.
Because it hurts really bad. And then Myron, for some reason or other, gets really high up on the pillow. So basically, he's the same length anyways as Trevor would be and still gets me. I'm not safe, Tombstone.
You're not safe in your own bed.
I am not safe in my own bed.
What is a man supposed to do? What is a man supposed to do?
Well,
so
to segue into the next article,
so
Tombstone,
speaking of being safe in your own bed...
apparently no one's safe in their own bed.
No one is.
Apparently no one.
So just to this is actually a very serious topic. We're not going to be silly about this.
No, and
any more than we have to be.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you do have sensitive ears in the room, this may be the time to fast forward 10 minutes.
Yes.
Because we are going to talk about the marital relationship and how it is on the decline in the United States and the fruits of said marital relationships. And so
Chris Ingram in the Salt Lake Tribune has written a very nicely done synopsis of a study about basically sexual frequency across age groups in the United States. The upshot of the study is basically that, and I'll just quote here from the first line: the share of U.S. adults reporting no sex in the past year reached an all-time high in 2018. Underscoring a 3-decade trend line marked by an aging population and higher numbers of unattached people. So I want to go back and talk about something that I've been reading the last 4, 5, 6 years off and on, and that is that millennials, maybe younger Gen X, but definitely millennials, are not marrying as frequently. I shouldn't say as frequently, because hopefully you don't get married more than once, although a lot of times people do, which is actually related to what the statistic is actually about, that divorce is down because marriage is down. Have you heard this before? I
have heard that.
Okay, so it's pretty, and I think that holds up. I haven't seen a detailed study on it recently, but it basically makes sense. Fewer people are getting married, especially millennials who dealt with very, very high rates of broken homes. So they're not getting married, so they're not getting divorced. They're just splitting up, and that's showing up in the lack of actual divorce paperwork being filed. However, it appears there's also a concurrent trend and that is that people between 18 and 30, fewer of them than ever before are in any kind of a relationship. So the signal here, of course, is they're not having sex. The downside is, of course, at the Front Porch Show, we're proponents of a monogamous, sexual relationship and marriage, but we living in the real world.
We live in a society that doesn't exactly prescribe.
Right.
That.
We live in a society where sex is very normal outside marriage, but all that to say, people are not having sex especially in the 18 to 30 age bracket. That's
very sad.
It is. So again, not that the sex itself is the main thing, but
right. I think it's indicative of a
carries
bigger
a
problem.
lot of it's indicative of a lot of social problems. Lower testosterone, lower sperm count,
general unhappiness,
fewer relationships. Being just general unattachment. So I don't know. I feel like this is a canary in the coal mine for a society.
Well, so Japan talked about this 3 years ago. I remember seeing articles come out about that.
Yeah, I've been seeing articles about Japan. The same type of deal.
Nearly a third of Japanese people are entering their 30s without any sexual experience.
Mm-hmm.
And then also they're just not having kids.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it's really it's a little scary.
So,
but a lot of the excuses are they just don't want to be bothered.
So I keep reading that testosterone is down, and that I wonder how much of it has to do with that. But testosterone is also boosted by rigorous physical activity, which of course in decades past, going back 30, 40 years, the proportion of people that were physically active in some kind of daily job was higher, especially among young people, because they were building houses in the summer, cutting grass, even working in fast food can be pretty active depending on what you're doing.
But people are much more sedentary.
It is a lot of teenagers in the last 10 years are getting through their entire teenage years into their mid 20s without ever having a physically demanding job, or if they played sports or if they had social issues in college, or high school, they don't play sports through their end of teen years, early 20s. So there's not like I really think like I'm a big proponent of physical education and physical training. Not that I'm great at doing it myself, because I'm not, but I think that's a lot of it. And
without a
I think
doubt.
part of it is porn, but I also think a lot of it is just general sedentary lifestyle. Especially, again, I'm looking at that like younger millennial to Zoomer bracket. So basically, like 18 to 25 would be your Zoomers, and then your youngest millennials would be like 25, 26 to 30, which is just a little bit younger than you and I are. So, when I'm trying to think. So after I finished college and was not living at home, I never played video games.
Yeah.
So I know you and I now indulge occasionally as married men, but I literally spent all my free time back then. I was running around town, hanging out with my friends, chasing women in some fashion, or hiking or riding the motorcycle. I did nothing else. I was very rarely at home. And when I was at home, sometimes I would read books, or I would spend a little bit of time on social media. So I did do social media. I'm not some kind of PT stud, like a slave to the gym, nothing like that. But would not have considered myself to have an online life.
Right.
Definitely not in any kind of way that would supplant having friends in meat space. All the good times I had were out in meat space, doing stuff with my friends, driving down the highway at 95 miles an hour, 8 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning, stuff like that. So, and you don't have that. I shouldn't say you don't have it, because there are still people that do that, but the proportion of kids that are stuck to their phones and computers is much higher.
Community is dead in our society for the most part.
Yeah.
Actually hanging out with people, spending time with them, chilling on the front porch like we are doing, having meaningful relationships and conversations that actually matter.
So So let me tell you. So total segue on this. As I've gotten older, one of the things I've appreciated more and more and more is the connections that I have through my parents, because my parents have been in the same church for almost 30 years.
Yeah.
Some of the best friendships I have in terms of maturity, there's not people I would just call up and hang out with on a Friday night, but if I need advice, if I need career direction, if I need biblical direction, whatever, I have a short list of people that my parents have known for 30 years,
right,
that I can call and they know me. That is my most fulfilling experience of community. I have really good connections in my own church as well, but mostly people that are my age,
gotcha.
Right? Because it's a much younger church,
right?
But elder counsel is one of those things you can only get from a very mature community.
Yeah,
mature in the developmental sense, not the age sense. And that's, as I'm on Twitter interacting with these guys who are NEETs or some function of Zoomer, NEET being not in unemployment, education, or training. It's a British thing, I think. A lot of these guys end up in that way because their parents themselves are directionless and they had no connection to their parents' parents or their parents' friends.
Right.
So because there's nobody, I don't say standing over them, like not in the shaming, although it can be shaming.
Okay.
Nobody's standing out in front of them saying, follow me, I'll lead the way. If you put in the work, we'll find a way for you to succeed.
Right.
Like a lot of these kids have given up on romantic success and career success or work success because they've seen their parents work their entire lives for no apparent gain, or they don't, or for some other reason they don't think it can be done.
I think you also see that to draw the point to like the Jordan Petersons.
Yeah.
We see that in the rise of these quote unquote incels, these involuntarily celibate people. Yeah. Celibate, not celebrate. Whereas I think we go back and we look at their situation and they're not necessarily involuntarily celibate. They've put themselves in a situation because they're living in their mommy's basement. And
some of them, yeah, but I think it speaks to
multiple things, obviously, but
it speaks to like you said, the devolving of the community at large.
Well, absolutely. When all of your friends are, avatars online,
yeah,
that's what happens.
Yeah.
So,
So like looking at Jordan Peterson.
Okay. Are you okay there, Tombstone? Technical issues.
Fell out there.
Technical issues.
I think the reason that he became so wildly popular is he's never claimed to have all the answers. He's trying to find answers, and he's encouraging boldness. That's basically what the book 12 Rules for Living is. It's like, here's a set of simple rules you can definitely do. I don't know where you're going to end up, but you'll end up somewhere better than you are now if you take a few simple steps. And for some people, that's revolutionary.
No, you're right. You're right. Yeah, I mean, it makes me very sad for society, I guess.
Yeah.
Because not only do you see this trend in non-married couples, you also see this in married couples as well.
Right.
And obviously some of that is by choice. But some of it's not. Some of it is just a failing relationship and failing community within that marriage.
Yeah.
And that makes me really, really concerned for the state of our society and the state of just the state of everything. I mean, we can minimize the effects of this as much as we want, but I think it's huge. I think it's a dangerous trend. And yeah, I think it's dangerous. So, is that all your thoughts, Tombstone?
Those are all my thoughts.
Okay. I didn't want to bump us out until you were good with that, but
I appreciate it.
So yeah, from the Front Porch Show, go get it on.
Unemployment is low because everyone has 2 jobs.
You got them realtor eyes.
We're going to flip this seat red in November.
I can always tell by realtor eyes. She got him.
I think she's living in banana land.
I am not the expert on geopolitics.
I think that there's a lot of people more concerned about being precisely, factually, and semantically correct than about being morally right.
How are you the boss for coming up with a plan that doesn't work?
Is it okay to still have children?
I personally believe some people out there in our nation don't have that, and I believe that our education, like such as in South Africa and the Iraq, everywhere like such as, and
I got to tell you, I'm just now fully appreciating the genius of the conjunction of the AOC to Miss South Carolina from 2007. What inspired you to do that? Please tell me.
I felt it, Tombstone.
Was it just a stroke of genius?
Yeah,
You felt
it. I was like, as I was listening to Miss Cortez speak, I was like, this reminds me of someone. And then I was going through my clips that I had saved, and I was like, oh my goodness, it's the Miss South Carolina.
Divine inspiration. Absolutely divine.
It may have been.
Well, props to your lizard brain for putting those two things together, because it's freaking genius.
Unfortunately,
are you going to make me? Are you going to make me talk about her? And I don't mean Miss South Carolina. I mean the AOC.
No, we do need to talk about Andrea Ocasio.
Why are you doing this to me again?
Listen, I'm sorry, but you have to. You have to enjoy what's about to come. I have a news article for you.
Okay.
But unfortunately, I have to tell you this. Now you have to read it before you can find out what's in it. Anyways, moving on.
Okay.
Unfortunately for Alexandria, I keep calling her Andrea.
It's not Andrea.
Alexandria.
It's Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
By the way,
yes.
Roseanne Barr hit it on the Realtor Eyes. I just want to.
She did.
Have you ever thought back through any ex-girlfriends you had and thought? Anyways, I'm just saying.
I can't admit to that on the air.
Neither can I. Neither can I. Neither can I.
Oh, yes. Okay.
I'm just think
no,
back.
No, say no more, friend. Say no more.
Think back. I'm just saying.
Is this the one who shall not be named?
There's numerous ones. It's all of them. All of them. Tombstone.
All the ones before Alyssa. We don't talk about.
All the ones before Alyssa.
And
all the ones after Alyssa.
No,
I'm just kidding.
No,
just kidding.
Alyssa's the last and the best.
She is. She absolutely is.
She has amazing cooking.
Oh my goodness. So, okay.
Yes.
Just real quick.
Yes.
I have expanded my culinary adventures.
Anything that diverts me from having to talk about AOC is fine. So
Tombstone, have you
ever
had chicken tikka masala?
No.
This is an Indian dish.
Is this related to the video you sent me this week about the chicken?
No, that was totally separate.
Okay.
That was chicken cordon bleu.
Oh, okay.
Or something
Folks,
like that.
Do not go searching for that on Facebook. Just don't do it.
So I made chicken tikka masala, which is an Indian dish, which is actually originated in Britain. But it's
wait.
Yeah. I know.
It's an Indian dish that originated in. Okay.
Yes.
Just go ahead.
And
don't explain it.
So it is the most complex dish, like flavor wise, I have ever tasted.
Okay.
It's basically a creamy tomato sauce with lots of yummy spices in it. With chicken, of course, because chicken tikka. And the chicken is slowly roasted after it's been marinated for hours. Slowly roasted till it's like caramelized and yummy. And you kind of just push it off the skewers into this.
You're making me hungry, and I just had supper.
And you serve it with basmati rice, which is
that the sticky rice?
No, that's the aromatic rice. And so the rice smells really good for some weird reason. Don't know why. It just smells really good. And then you serve it with flatbread, naan. Tombstone, this dish may be the best thing I've ever had in the last.
How long did it take you to put together?
So I prep the chicken the night before. Typically, you can do it the same day. The hardest part is mixing all the spices together.
Yep.
Uses a lot of fresh garlic and ginger and onion.
Okay.
And so, the prep is a pain in the butt, but it is a killer dish. Like, it is just delicious. Cultural appropriation on my part, Tombstone.
I appropriate culinary culture all the time.
Me too. Tomorrow I'm going to have Chinese food. And tonight I had tacos. I am a world traveler with my palate, Tombstone.
I'm impressed.
So back to AOC.
Yes.
I'm sorry to disappoint you, Tombstone, but her numbers are not very good in the polls.
Really?
Are you surprised? Apparently you are.
I actually am surprised because she strikes me as the left-wing doppelganger of Donald Trump. What she said, whether what she says is right is not as important as the fact that she is saying it.
Mm-hmm.
So I would figure that. So are these poll numbers in her district or poll numbers nationwide? Because she's not running for president.
Right.
She's not old. She's not old enough.
These are, I believe, are
unlike
nationwide.
Micheal Avanatti. Okay.
Yes, that's correct.
I mean, because does that really matter though? Because nobody really nobody really cares.
Well, I think
about nationwide.
It does matter based on her future. It does matter based upon her future because some people have said, "Hey, she's going to run for president," or "We need her to run for president," or something, along those lines.
Yeah.
And if she wants to run for president, her polling is dismal. She's going to have to do something, and that's because only 23% of Americans had a favorable view of her.
I think there is an exactly 0% chance that she runs for president.
I think you're right.
Actually, no. No, I think how old is she again? She what, 29?
She is 29 or 30.
So she's not even eligible to be president for 6 more years.
She's eligible to run in 2024.
So here's the thing. Excuse me.
Here's the thing. Same year I am coincidentally able to run.
She is a human dynamo of energy.
Well, with those crazy eyes.
Yes. I don't think you should underestimate the amount of energy. I feel stupid, pontificating on her presidential changes. But I think there's a very good possibility she would run if she got the chance.
But she would never win.
No, I don't think she could win. But she could do a Bernie. She could ruin it for everybody else in the Democratic Party.
And I think she would also seriously sway the Overton window.
She is Bernie's spiritual successor.
Yes, she is.
Which makes her, I don't want to say dangerous, because I'm not trying to, but it makes her dangerous to the Democrats because Bernie's a loose cannon.
Mm-hmm.
Bernie is a loose cannon. Let me rephrase. Bernie is a loose cannon enough of the time to keep his own base attached to him.
Yes.
And he quiets down just in time to keep the Democratic National Convention from slapping him on the wrist.
I would agree with you on that.
But he frequently reins in his rhetoric when he's told.
Mm-hmm. That is true.
I don't know if I could point to a specific example. I apologize, but just based on observation over the last 6-7 years.
I would agree with you.
But Bernie himself has not really been in politics that long.
What?
No. How long has he been the senator in Vermont? He's only been senator for 2 terms?
No, since the 90s.
Oh, okay. Pardon me.
Yeah. And then before that, he was mayor of Burlington. That's when he did the whole Russia thing.
Mayor of Burlington is what?
I mean,
you're the mayor of Burlington. It's
100,000 people.
It's not like being mayor of San Francisco or mayor of Los Angeles.
No, but he certainly was. It mattered. It mattered, and it propelled him to popularity, I guess.
Well, yeah. We'll have to revisit Vermont politics another time.
Vermont politics is very
fascinating
because
they need to just sell Burlington back to Canada.
When a red state loves Bernie Sanders so much, and he helps turn it into a blue state.
And isn't he from New York anyways?
I don't remember.
He's everything that's wrong with Vermont now. It's just I realize I don't have a lot of room to talk, but
I'm honestly not sure.
Hang on. What were we talking about? We were talking about the AOC.
Yeah. So okay.
What do her poll numbers actually look like?
Poll numbers, real quick. 23% had a favorable view.
When I Google Bernie Sanders, the first thing that pops up is a headline from Washington Post.
What does it say?
Electability and Bernie don't belong in the same sentence. Go ahead.
36% had an unfavorable view, so she has -13 overall rating. 38% hadn't heard enough about her to have an informed opinion. That
Those must be the 38. That must be the 38% of Americans that aren't on Twitter.
That are apparently under a rock. Now, we've got to pivot stories here, okay?
All right. We love pivots.
Green New Deal. It went before the Senate this week.
Oh, my goodness.
Do you know anything about what happened?
I actually do know what happened. Everybody voted present. Nobody voted for it.
That's right.
Not a single person didn't vote for it, right?
No one voted for it. There were, 57 to, let's see. It was 57-0, I think, was the vote.
Oh.
Basically, if you want to sum it up as this. The Green New Deal is basically just the wish list of the left.
The excuses I heard for why they didn't vote for it did not make any sense to me, which I guess shouldn't be surprising. But
wait, of why they voted for, or why they didn't vote for it?
Why they voted present.
Oh, because
I heard it was in AOC's direction. Like, she didn't even vote for it herself.
Well, AOC is. Well, that's a good question. She's not a senator, though, is she?
No,
she's a House. She's a representative.
I'm getting ahead of myself.
She's a representative. So, because the House voted on it, and they voted with her, didn't they, or something?
I don't know.
For the most part, or they voted it through, or something. I don't remember. Anyways, they pushed it. GOP pushed it hard to get it in because they knew it was going to vote bad. And so, anyway,
right.
Obviously,
They succeeded. They succeeded, but the Democrats teed it up for them perfectly. So I have to give them props for taking advantage of the situation.
I love the guy who's against the Green New Deal. They're eating hamburgers on the steps in front of the reporters, because they say that they will eat hamburgers before it's endangered under the Green New Deal.
Yes,
that's Utah Republican Rob Bishop. He says it's tantamount to genocide, which is true. Okay, look, here's the thing. I am not one of those guys who is, if she's young, she's dumb.
No.
Okay.
No.
Because look, I have been in that situation before.
However, there is the rule that proves the exception.
There is absolutely. But don't be too hard on yourself, Tombstone.
Oh,
sorry, man. You walked into that.
That's very hurtful. That's very hurtful.
No. So look, there obviously are rules to the exception, but I'm not going to say that because she's young, that she's not smart.
Yep.
She obviously doesn't have any experience. Because if you look at the Green New Deal,
I'm still. So I don't know. I've heard her talk a few times since I said this, because I said a few weeks ago that she's not dumb. She's miseducated. But I don't know if that's actually true. I think she might be a little bit dumb.
I don't know. And I think she's being pulled in a lot of directions by some special interests. But look, do you think when she said she wants to ban airplanes by 2029 that she had one thought about the military?
No, not a single thought.
It's because
I don't know if she had any thoughts at all.
But my point being, she's got a one track.
Yeah.
She's got one track, and she sees the idealism of what it can bring.
One of the, I know we take this for granted, but one of the perpetual things about the left is they assume a perpetual worldwide situation where the United States never has to project massive amounts of power. They assume that because, not in spite of, but because the United States will degrade its fighting ability, that everything in the world will be just awesome because we're the ones causing all the problems.
Right, well, they think that we are the instigator.
Right.
Encouraging the issue.
Right, which, to be fair, occasionally is the case.
Right. We are not blameless.
And if it's not us, it's the Jews. Let's be straight here.
Which you say that tongue in cheek.
That's a joke. It's a joke.
Because that's who the left blames.
That's probably what she would say, though.
It is. It is, unfortunately. The anti-Semitism on the left right now is just blowing it like crazy.
If it's Mossad and the CIA.
Look, I have said before, I'm no American Zionist. But anyone who insults a race or a people based solely on their genetics is an absolute loser. Sorry, Tombstone.
It's all right.
My blood pressure's going up.
Don't control the blood pressure.
Tombstone. I honestly have to say this: like racism and hatred based on genetics I don't understand it. It makes no sense to me. I have so many issues with that.
I don't understand it either, too. But
I know
when it comes to Israel and the Jews, there's a lot of other things going on. It's what they're accused of and all this stuff.
Right.
Long history. All that to say, go back to the original point.
But damning them as a people is ridiculous. So
right. Going back to the issue at hand, socialists, nobody in favor of the Green New Deal thinks we need to be able to project power. It wouldn't even enter into their calculations. So I don't know. Like everything else, the Green New Deal is the big version, and we're going to get the small version year over year over year.
Oh, they'll basically what they've done with the Green New Deal is they've publicized their desires, and so now they're just going to start whittling down little tiny bits and just feed it to us and spoon feed us instead of just dumping that dump truck on us.
Yep.
And they'll try, and I think a lot of things they'll be semi-successful at. I mean, we've seen it over the last 30 years. It's just what's going to happen. So, whatever. The left, man, the left. I mean, the left. Full of pipe dreams. Just dreams. Dreams, Tombstone. Dream big.
We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things. Not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best.
The essence of the American character is to explore new horizons and to tame new frontiers. We must have American dominance in space. Very importantly, I'm hereby directing the Department of Defense and Pentagon to immediately begin the process necessary to establish a Space Force as the 6th branch of the armed forces.
Oh, I thought it was going to hit there. Where is it?
The base is not dropping.
Get longer? There we
go.
There we go. I knew it was going to hit. All right. I may have to edit that, fix it. I wish it would hit sooner. Tombstone.
Yes.
Buzz Aldrin. 89 years old.
Buzz Aldrin.
He is pimping.
Yes.
So he goes to attend what was it? It's the 115th Explorers Club annual dinner on March 16th. And he's wearing a suit. How do you even describe it?
Astral.
Yes. I mean that describes it. I mean, it is. What is even on there? Is it planets?
Hang on, I'm trying to find a better image because it's amazing.
So he's there taking pictures with the former Apollo astronauts, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they are all in tuxes.
So it's got got rockets. It's got old school like little finned rockets like from the 50s comic books and little moons and little planets. It's amazing.
Nice. That's nice.
And he's got a star and moon ring on his right index finger.
Dude's got the gold.
He's got like I don't know what all he's got going on with his wrists.
He's got the gold ribbon. It's the socks. The socks. The socks get me, Tombstone.
But he's got 4 gold rings on his left hand. And the socks are a thing of beauty. I'm honestly, I'm almost moved to tears.
The socks scream America.
America.
They are Star Spangled Banner. You got the stars on one foot.
It's glorious.
Stars on one foot and the flag on the other.
It's glorious.
It is so amazing.
I hope when I'm an octogenarian, I have that much style.
Tombstone, everyone's like, well, how could he do it? How could he do it? And I'm like, the man went to the moon. He can do whatever he wants.
He does whatever he wants. Exactly right.
If you go to the moon, do you remember a couple years back when he was rapping with Snoop Dogg?
I vaguely remember, yes.
He did the Rocket Experience or something was the name of the song. where he and Snoop Dogg, tag teamed to rap together.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently the dude is into hip hop. 89 years old, and he loves hip hop. Now, I want to pivot the story and go a little bit further from Earth to the moon.
Oh boy!
Right. It seems that Mars Curiosity is showing pictures of something that looks like fungus growing on the surface.
It's not fungus.
It's not okay. What is it?
I have no idea. It looks like a rock of some kind.
But like 5 little bulbous rocks.
Yeah, it looks.
6,
but look
7,
at the. They're in a pile of other little odd shaped rocks though that are not circular. That makes me think they're rocks of some kind. But I have no idea.
But they look weird, like they're sitting above the surface, not like they're nestled in the surface, like they grew out of the surface.
You're right. I don't know.
I don't know.
I would love to find out. I mean, if it was, it would be really cool.
I mean, those. Dude, these mushrooms are out of this world.
Just stop.
So NASA has not confirmed or refuted the picture.
They're not in the confirming and denying business.
This is Dr. Regina Das of the Department of Microbiology at the School of Life Sciences, India. The study's co-author said, there are no geological or other abiogenic forces on Earth which can produce sedimentary structures by the hundreds, which have mushroom-shaped stems, stalks, and shed what looks like spores on the surrounding surface. In fact, 15 specimens are photographed by NASA growing out of the ground in just 3 days.
Yep.
That's just bizarre.
Wait. They appeared in the space of 3 days?
That's what they're saying, man.
That's very strange.
I don't know. And there's another picture with what looks like lichen on a rock. I don't know, man. It could be weird. Some weird stuff. Some weird stuff afoot. Did you hear about the spacewalk that NASA canceled the other day?
I did hear about it.
They were all excited because they were going to do an all-female spacewalk, but they were not able to do so. Why, you ask? They didn't have the right size spacesuits. How do you go to space and not have the right size spacesuit?
I'm not sure which of my offensive jokes to use here. Well, it's an EVA suit. So it's not a regular suit. It's not like a jumpsuit like they wear in the module. It's one particular kind of suit, like what we think of as a space suit. They don't wear it all the time. They only wear it when they go outside.
So they've got separate suits for that.
So they've only got one medium, I think it was.
Right.
So
what else
not
do they have?
Not a big surprise because women are smaller than men. So
interesting. So Anne trained in a medium and large and thought that she could use large, but decided after last Friday's spacewalk a medium fits better.
Yeah, because women are a lot smaller than men on average, so no surprise there.
Yeah, that's true. It's just interesting.
Yeah, I might have seen like one or two feminists getting riled about it, but it's like I doubt the women themselves care because they want to be safe.
Well, right.
So
when you're floating 200 miles
have.
Above the Earth, I mean, safety is paramount.
Yeah.
Do you think? I mean, look. So NASA came out and was like, "Hey, we're doing a female-only spacewalk." Were they virtue signaling something?
I think this is a case of the PR department, which are professional virtue signalers getting ahead of the engineers. So yes.
So
I think that's an accurate assessment.
When did we get to the point as a country when political correctness and virtue signaling took the place of common sense?
It was a number of years ago.
Okay,
but we're definitely there.
We're owning it.
We're definitely there.
We're living it.
So
it's just frustrating.
In the immortal words of the Dread Pirate Roberts, get used to disappointment.
Did we ever find out anything about the sabotage that was taking place on the space shuttle, space station?
No.
The last I remember, it was sabotage. It was on purpose, right?
Really? I don't think so.
I thought
they said it was a hole, but they didn't say they knew why it was there. I'm still not convinced some good old boys 3030 didn't escape planetary velocity and ding the side of the International Space Station.
Reloaded a little bit hot.
Yeah, just a little bit hot in the reloads there.
A little bit hot.
Thing is, though, I bet there are guys who, if you gave them the challenge of hitting something that far away and that high up, they would make a good effort at it.
270 miles.
Hang on. How big is the ISS?
Like, when I see it going overhead, Tombstone, it's a little star flying past.
Right, but how big is it? Like, really?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Hang on. I'm going to tell you what kind of MOA accuracy you would have to hit the International Space Station from Earth.
So I'm going to check out the size. Because I'm
you do that, and you said it's 270, right?
Okay. No, it's 270 miles up in space, I think.
Right. So we're going to multiply 270 into kilometers.
So the space station's like 100 yards long. 120 yards long, it looks like. Yeah, 100.
All right. We got to make sure we get this math absolutely right.
Okay. So the solar array width is 73 meters. The truss length is 109 meters. And the module length is 51. So it's like a big box floating up there by like 100 by 73 or something. Pretty close to that.
So can we just use 100 meters because that's a nice round number?
Yeah, I think that's probably good for our accuracy.
Okay, so let's see. 434 kilometers is how many? I'm not sure how to do this math.
Now, are you trying to go 435K to miles? That's 270 miles.
No. I did the miles.
Okay. Oh, I see what you're trying to do.
I'm trying to figure out how much accuracy you would need from a traditional ballistic weapon to hit that target that high up.
Well, if I had my ballistics calculator up, but unfortunately, the ballistics calculator got lost in the tragic canoe accident as well. I could calculate that out.
Basically, how many minutes of angle is 100 meters at 270?
So basically, you want to see
kilometers.
How far the bullet drop is at.
No. We don't care for the sake of this experiment. We don't care about bullet drop.
Okay.
All I care about is how many minutes of angle the target is. How wide is it in minute of angle?
So how do we calculate that out?
Well,
like how do
1 minute? I'm sorry. So 1 MOA is roughly 1 inch at 100 yards.
So figure out what one MOA is at. Find out what 1 minute of angle is at 1 mile. Right?
I think.
Because if we figure out 1 MOA at 1 mile, right? That would. So even if we figure out 1 MOA is 1 inch per 100 yards, right?
Right.
So one MOA at 800. Okay. So at 800 yards, it would be 8 inches. Okay.
Yep.
So what is 1 MOA at 270 miles?
Okay. So here's the answer.
Okay.
At 1 mile, it's going to be 18 inches wide. So we need 18 inches times 270 divided by 12.
Okay.
It's going to be feet.
I'm on this. I'm on this. Say that again.
All right. So 18 inches.
18 inches.
Times 200 is 270 miles, right?
Times 270.
270 miles.
Okay.
So what's that number?
That's 4,860. Yeah, 4,860.
Okay. So divide that by 12.
So divided by 12. Why are we dividing it by 12?
Because we're going to get the answer in feet instead of inches.
That's 405.
405 feet?
Yep.
So you would need...
And so, okay, so...
You would need a little bit... You would need a gun that could shoot less than 1 MOA to hit the ISS. But you could do it. You could do it.
Theoretically, yes.
Theoretically.
Interesting. That was a fascinating rabbit hole.
Only on the Front Porch Show. For questions and comments, Tombstone at the Front Porch Show.
Of course, this is theoretical purposes only. We're not suggesting you shoot at the International Space Station.
No. Can we get down to a more finer number?
If you shoot anything, it should be the bird.
So what was that number one more time?
That would be 405.
That's 405 yards, right? 405 feet.
405 feet.
And we said it was roughly 100 meters long, right? 100 meters wide. Okay.
That's right.
So, one MOA gives you a 123 meter wide group at 270 miles. I realize we're mixing our denominations here. I'm sorry, I can't help it right
close
now.
Close enough.
All right, so what is 100? Hang on.
What is 100 yards to meters, or 100 meters to yards?
100 divided by 123. That'll give you the fraction. So you need a 0.81 MOA gun. That's exactly what you need.
Wait, what do you need?
You need a gun that shoots 0.8 MOA.
0.8. That makes sense. I was thinking 0.75, but yeah, that's close enough.
Yeah, pretty close.
Close enough.
I mean, you would really need to get well within that to actually get any hits, because with wind,
wind,
all your other issues, bullet drop,
distance, bullet drop. Of course, escaping the Earth's atmosphere being one. There's a lot of different factors that go into play into this conversation.
So you would also need, for your escape velocity, you have to be going a little over 11 kilometers a second, which is extremely, extremely fast.
Which you're not going to get that out of a conventional firearm.
You really need a railgun.
Does this? That's funny. I was just thinking that magnetic railgun, be incredible. Why are we talking about this? NASA's going to come after us, Tombstone.
Okay, so you would need to give you conventional firearms fire roughly between 1,000 and on the very high end of 4,000 feet per second.
Yes.
Fire bullet. So your escape velocity is going to be around 36,700 feet per second.
Yeah, I'm not doing that out of any of my firearms.
You would need a really, really hot load.
Oh, yes. Yes.
So it's not likely that somebody missed a shot at Bambi and winged the ISS.
So no, but
whatever happened to it, that's not it.
Tombstone, facts are facts. We proved on here that it was not a gunshot that maimed the International Space Station.
Maimed? That's a very strong word.
Yes, we proved right here.
Yes,
it was not.
We proved
a pot shot from some redneck.
It wasn't a pot shot from Earth. Now, it might have been a pot shot from one of the Russians after he dipped into the vodka.
That's another interesting story in and of itself, Tombstone.
Yes, but we can't run the numbers on that. We just don't have the data.
That the Russians carry weapons into space.
They used to.
As far as I know, they still do, don't they?
Interesting.
To do at the end, I wanted to do products liability, as in, if that camera explodes all over that guy, we'd sue the camera company and their insurance company, you see.
How does Yale out-rebound Baylor?
You go up and grab the ball off the rim when it comes off, and then you grab it with two hands, and you come down with it, and that's considered a rebound. So they got more of those than we did.
Final Four is coming up there, Tombstone. How's your bracket doing?
Dude, I don't have a bracket. You know I don't get into that.
Neither do I.
Oh, wait, Mike Leach is talking.
He couldn't get me a shrunken head, so I got a T-shirt.
There you go. Sorry, Mike. We'll get to you next time, buddy. No, I don't have a bracket this year either.
You don't?
I don't.
I figured you'd be a bracket every year kind of guy.
Tombstone. After number 1, I hate basketball. Number 2, I did so well one year on my bracket. I ended up in the top 1,000 on ESPN. I won't fill out another bracket. Why would I?
You don't think you can top your success?
Why would I fill out another bracket? I ended up in the top 1,000 on ESPN out of 2 million or 3 million brackets. Why would I ever do it again?
Extremely impressive.
It's extremely selfless of me to give other people the opportunity to achieve bracket proficiency. Gotta give a shout out to Auburn University. Auburn University is in the Final Four. Go, War Eagle! I'm super psyched about it. That's we didn't think they had a chance. Honestly, we didn't think they had a chance, and they're just making it happen. Tombstone, what in the world? What is in the water off Australia?
I don't know. Presumably sharks.
Apparently a giant shark. Like a ginormous shark.
Hang on. I got to find the article.
How do you not have this article up?
About. I actually had it up and then I closed it.
You're still math and stuff, man.
Because I'm a dork. I'm still legitimately impressed with myself that I got that worked out. I'm more impressed that my brain thought, we should try and figure out what that number is because it would be fun.
Your math is solid, though. Your math is solid. We checked it in the break. We double checked it in the break.
Dealing with conversions was always really strong at that in math class. Anyways,
I'm glad you mathed it out.
Where is the
Hold on.
Where is this? All right, just tell me about it.
I'll send it to you again, Tombstone. So, man who I'm not going to attempt his name, but goes by Jason. Jason. He was, I guess what they were doing is they were fishing for mako sharks. And from what I understand, they hooked big sharks, right? They hooked a big mako shark.
I'm pulling up this picture.
They did not actually recover the entire shark. They only recovered the shark's head.
A mako shark is usually 10, 13 feet long, something like that.
12 feet long, 1,200 pounds.
Okay, so big animal.
Fastest swimming shark, 46 miles an hour. It's ginormous, okay? Big shark. Something bit off its entire, technically I guess it's bit off its head and left its head. And they reeled in the head.
I don't know. They reeled in the body.
No, they reeled in the head.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. I was looking at it sideways. Yes.
Yeah, man.
Something bit off its behind.
Something bit it off from behind, which means the entire body of this shark was inside of something else.
Oh, my word.
And the guy...
Is it the Meg?
It might be.
I need to watch that. I wanted to watch it. I never got around to it.
Tombstone.
I love sharks.
I don't get
shark movies.
I grew up on the water. My grandfather was a fisherman. I grew up out on Long Island Sound. Water doesn't scare me.
Mm-hmm.
This is freaky, man. This is just plumb weird. That just wild. So he obviously was bitten by something a lot bigger. So the question is it the megalodon shark?
I choose to believe.
So they found fossils, obviously, of this megalodon shark, which was 58 feet long. Ginormous.
I'm
ginormous
googling.
fish.
I'm googling. Do megalodons still exist? Because I know Google will have the answer.
They're claimed to be extinct, of course.
I mean, they probably are. I think because all megafauna is extinct.
Allegedly, Tombstone. Look, I'm not sold on that. I'm not sold on that. There are reports out of Africa where people claim to have seen brontosauruses. Deep in the Congo,
but we haven't seen any pictures.
But okay, so here's the thing, Tombstone. This is a great topic. I love this topic.
Oh my!
There are places in this world where we haven't been.
We're getting into like George Norrie land here. Just be careful.
Was I telling you? Did I tell you about the Darien Gap in South America? So, did you know we don't have a road that goes from North America to South America?
Yes, I because there's a weird place in Central America where the roads are blown up by landmines or something.
No. There's never ever been a road there.
Oh,
there's never ever been a road connection there.
Where's the problem at?
It's just south of Panama. It's on the Panama border, Panama and Colombia. It's called the Darien Gap.
Okay, I gotcha. Okay, so it's not a mountain. It's not a mountain gap.
No, it's mountains and swamps.
It's a gap in the road.
It's just nasties. It's nastiness, right?
I'm tracking.
And so you've got places like that are basically widely uninhabited. You have parts of the Amazon that are widely uninhabited. You've got parts of Africa that are completely uninhabited, and we're finding new species all the time. Why couldn't there still be something huge lurking around?
I think it's very doubtful.
Yeah, it could be.
Especially now that we have more cameras than ever before, and that number will continue to increase on orders of magnitude.
Have you ever heard of the Tasmanian tiger?
No.
Most people haven't. It's claimed to be extinct until, well, it's not, because there's pictures. They're trying to search. They're trying to find this thing. Tasmanian tiger. Kind of looks like a mix between a dog.
So I do really enjoy cryptofauna stories. I've never heard of this thing. It's kind of cool.
It's pretty awesome.
Wikipedia still thinks it's extinct.
Yes, but yet there's reports from all over Queensland of people seeing it.
Huh.
I don't know. Does it exist?
It looks like a coyote looking thing.
Yeah, it does. But yet it's got stripes like a tiger, and it's got a pouch like a marsupial.
Wild.
Yes.
So cool.
Tombstone. It's nuts.
It's like a cross between a dog and a tiger.
Yes. But with a
lemur. It's got like a long lemur tail.
The only thing thing it doesn't do is lay eggs. It's got like a kangaroo tail.
That is wild.
Yeah.
I kind of want to snuggle with one and pet it.
It's kind of cute. No, look, I'm just saying.
Not a brontosaurus. Don't want to see any brontosauruses. Don't want to pet them. Nothing.
I'm just saying. I grew up on Lake Champlain. Stories of Champ.
Okay, so I know every large lake has its legend.
Right,
was that yours? Lake Champlain.
Champ.
What is Champ?
Was the legend.
What is Champ supposed to look like?
Champ was supposedly a I don't even know what they call it. Leviathan or whatever.
Ooh.
Obviously that's not the technical term.
I do want a pet Leviathan.
I don't remember, like, what do they call those? The big swimming dinosaur.
Plesiosaurus, maybe?
Yes, there you go.
Yeah,
yeah. So I was part of I did an internship at the Lake Champlain Maritime Museum in high school. And I worked there for I think three or four summers. 3 or 4 years I was there every Friday.
Right.
And I worked in the archaeology laboratory and I got to preserve tons of really cool stuff. We had like a 1,000-pound anchor from a boat that was on Lake Champlain that they brought up from the bottom. It was absolutely incredible.
That's very cool.
It was in the preservation process, and I actually got to work on it a couple times. Just an incredible experience. I say all that to say they have done side scan sonars of the lake and never picked up anything weird.
Right.
They've done the same thing over at Loch Ness.
Right.
They've never found anything weird. However, remember, 70% of the Earth is covered with water.
Yes.
There are places on this ocean that boats have never been over. And we have never experienced, we don't have a clue what's there. Sure, we've got satellite imagery and stuff and radar, bouncing off the bottom to give us depths and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But we cannot cover everything all at once, and we can't tell what's there and what's not. And so when someone says something like the Tasmanian tiger's extinct, I'm like, do we really know that? I don't know. We can't prove it for sure because we can't be everywhere at once, and we can make an educated guess that we think it's extinct.
Right. But again, I know the old absence of evidence is not evidence of absence, all that. But I know. Again, statistically speaking, interesting stuff tends to bubble up. So I don't know. We'll see.
And honestly, I am very anti Bigfoot. I don't think Bigfoot exists. But what if it did? What if it did?
I'm open to Bigfoot.
I'm open to the possibility.
Discuss Bigfoot.
Anyways, big shark.
Yes.
Seriously, man. Question: You think it's a great white? Great whites are like 20 feet long. They're not that big.
I don't know, man. I really don't know.
Not that big. I don't know. A little weird. Tombstone. I want to pivot real quick. I know it's crazy. I know we're gonna do a whiplash segue.
All right.
But it's kind of the same because it's Florida, and Florida's on the ocean, right?
It's very close.
It's basically really a peninsula.
According to the Green New Deal people, it's going to be in the ocean in 12 years.
In fact, if Georgia didn't exist, it'd practically be an island.
Yeah.
I want to tell you about Florida Man.
Tell me about Florida Man.
From Boynton. How do you pronounce that?
I don't know. You're asking the wrong person.
Boynton. Anyway, Florida Man, 40 years old. He's charged with aggravated battery on a victim over 65 years old and domestic battery by strangulation. Who was the woman he attacked? It was his mother.
Oh dear.
Yeah. They apparently Dankner, that's his name, Dankner, and his mother were in their backyard when he asked her to dress his mannequin.
Sounds like mental illness may have been a factor here.
Tombstone, like any good mother, she refused to dress his mannequin. She then apparently was fed up with this, and
can you blame her? She
pushed the mannequin to the ground and ran inside.
That's just rude.
Well, obviously because he was nuts. She ran inside the house. He then retaliated her by following in the kitchen and taking a small stool and beating her in the head with it. But it doesn't end there. Florida Man does not end there. Florida Man then grabbed small dumplings that were made for dinner and started shoving them in her mouth. What in the world? Truth.
I don't know. I don't know what to
is
say.
Stranger than fiction, Tombstone.
It is. Put that in a book, nobody would believe it.
No. Why would dumplings? Who just
Dumplings are an accessory to assault.
Who just randomly makes small dumplings, though? Do you make small dumplings?
If you're Asian.
That's a good point.
That's the only time I've had, like, dumplings, other than, like, chicken and dumplings.
Well, that's what I'm wondering. I mean, what?
No, I think these sound like Asian-style dumplings with pork wrapped up in them.
Sounds delicious. I'm really hungry now.
It does.
I just had tacos. Too. I just had spicy chorizo tacos. Oh, they were so good, Tombstone. Guys, that's it for the Front Porch Show. www.thefrontporchshow.com. Check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/myfrontporchshow. As always, you can listen to us on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, Google Podcasts, and anywhere else where you get awesome shows, I guess. Yeah, that's us. Later.
See you, folks.